Welcome to your one pager on the power of behind the scenes work. This is just so you can have a little bit of an idea of what we're going to be doing. This is your opportunity to practically work through some of the things that we were doing on the live call and to sort of really go in and embed some of the tools that we were speaking about. So just to say that you are valued and you are needed, and the importance of you behind the scenes is critical to the success of any business or organization. Business administrators, executive assistants, personal assistants are critical to the performance of the business and can either enhance and collaborate or can actually also have the impact of destroying or decreasing the opportunity for growth, because that's the power of it. So how do we make sure that we can increase our power? You'll see through this one pager, we're working through our different areas. These are like flip cards that you can use here. So you can see that you can actually flip them over. This was a little bit about the I am that you were doing, like who you are as a behind the scenes person. So you can flip those around. Here you're going to be looking at how to check in with yourself on a daily basis. And so you'll see here there's activities and questions you can do. In principle number 2, it's a little bit more work. I want you to first scroll down here and just do this work I am to get really clear about what you are best at as an administrator, what sort of things you love doing the most and what you're best at. So you're going to answer these questions and write your top 3 answers from this list about what you're actually best at. All right, I see there. And then once you've finished with that, it'll really help you to hone in on this exercise, which is such a wonderful daily activity. This is in my Getting One Day Right course. And I've just added this in there. This is sort of a portion of what we do for Getting One Day Right. And here is to really start to identify your nightmare reality day. And then you've got your fantasy idea of what you want your day to be. And what we're looking to do is stay in the green zone. So the green zone is we want to have a perfect day by living what's most important to us, our personal values, not necessarily our work values. That's also important, but our personal values. And then here you will see the things that we really want to go. So one big thing, your 5 quick wins in the morning, and then those top priorities. So you can just keep adding to this list. You can add some more top priorities here as you go along when you're doing this exercise. Okay, so once you've done that and you've done this exercise, you're moving on to principle number 3, which is all about being outcome based. And I just want you to remember that the outcome is actually usually the opposite of the problem. So you've got the problem, okay, and what we're looking to do is move our mind to the opposite of that, and then work with whoever we're working with, even if it's with each other, our team, our organization, or individual leaders. Okay, I want you to now move towards an outcome-based mindset. I want to put your focus there because that's going to be inspiring. You're going to come up with steps, and both of you are going to be more likely to collaborate in this kind of mindset. So I want you to identify what's your current problem mindsets, put them in here, and then write the exact opposite to that. Okay, that's that activity. Such a great one to recognize where you just keep talking about the problems. And you can do this in your personal life as well. This is just because we're looking at the power behind the scenes at work. All right, and here you will see, I love this diagram about where we put our focus, provides our inner state and behavior. And I've changed this to inspiration. It normally says passion, but remember, passion is like really, really positive, and then it's suffering at the end, like burnout. And I don't want you to do that. So I want you to think of the vision outcome, see how it's serving you. Why are you doing it? How's it helping you as well as the other person? That's a fair exchange, which causes inspiration from all parties. And that means everyone's working towards the goal. So make sure you're always remaining in fair exchange in your relationship with who you're working with. And then here is a really cool little staying alive, like, you can listen to the song. And I just want you to see yourself as that cell inside your body. What happens is if you're becoming reactive, you're going to actually stop yourself from moving forward. So it's about slowly moving forward, taking those baby steps towards the outcome. Keep moving forward. That's what we want the cells in our bodies to do, to keep being able to give their messages for us. So that's why I thought it was quite fitting. Principle number 4 is where am I now? Am I in a reflective or reactive state at work? And, what labels am I giving to someone or to the business or to the organization that I'm in? And so one of them could be my leader micromanages me, and the opposite would be, the label would be leaves me to do the task, leaves me to it. And in that instance, I'm looking to see, where do I get left on my own to do the task, and not just to see one-sided world. When we see that we're experiencing both sides are there, we're just not able to see it in our conscious awareness. So we want to dig in and say, where, when, and who saw the other side, okay? And when I see that they actually leave me to it, you'll find that you get immunity of the body. That's why the cell diagram is so cool. And you'll also be able to have an engagement, a communication between yourself and the other individual. Because when I negatively label someone as only one way, they're always like this, it shuts down communication, okay? And it certainly shuts down collaboration. So what does that mean if I'm sitting in the prefrontal cortex instead of the amygdala, the hindbrain all the time? What happens when the amygdala is working, remember, we become reactive, okay? It's everything below the diaphragm. So you can also use your breath to calm yourself down a little bit, because the breath is the sort of, the diaphragm's the only one that we've got also some voluntary control over, and we use our breath to help it. And that's why the breath is so critical. And what happens in this situation is, when we're in the amygdala, we're like an animal. It's the animal brain, it's the hindbrain, and it tends to be reactive, it's impulsive, or it's instinctual, okay? So in that situation, we're not going to have our best focus, our best flow, our best work, our most accurate work happening, and obviously our best relationships happening, as you would know in the past when you've been in this mindset. And what we want to do is, the more that we shift our perception and our views about the organization, about the individuals we're with, and we actually widen our view instead of listening to other views, okay, and widen our own view and do the work on that, you're going to move into this creative part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, where everything happens for you. So it's about just thinking a little bit about that, a little intro into how to do that. It's a very difficult 4-star rating, as we know, because obviously it's really difficult to sort of do this kind of human behavior work. What do you mean that there's the other side? What do you mean I must shift my perception and see the benefits of being criticized? Okay. And the moment that you start looking at these things, you start looking back at yourself, and you become reflective instead of reactive. And you're not residing in the past. You're using the past as a tool of reflection to learn, not to learn to go, I'm going to negate that and I'm never going to be around someone like that again, or an organization that works like that, but rather, I'm saying, I'm embracing this. I see how it's serving me. So it's a very different way of looking at things, and I want you to attempt to look that way. Okay. And then I've got some funny things with, so office space reports, and also conference call in real life, and some of the experiences you have, which, can be frustrating, but you can also laugh about it. And some of the things that are going on right now, there was cool little videos, and really hear about owning your voice, just a small activity to say, this is my distraction voice. This is when I'm talking in a certain way and doing that. And so you're identifying that side of you versus your voice that builds others, builds yourself, so it can be a personal way that your distraction, I'm really bad at this, or I'm always making mistakes, or I'm always late because I've got things going on outside the workplace, or whatever. So I want you to just keep asking that question about the distraction voice versus the voice that builds, and really about owning that voice. Because if it's a voice that's build and it's got an intention of building, that is a great time to speak up. That is a great time to own your voice, because it's ideation, it's creative, it's on track, it's on mission. And that's what we're looking for, that voice. Because if we're using a voice that's sort of complaining and problematic, and no one actually wants to listen to that voice. And usually what happens is, you're usually in a reactive state, and that voice turns into gossip, and it really spreads quickly. You know, you watching, you've got all this information, but the gossip doesn't really help to get anything done. It just causes a lot of chaos, a lot of hearsay. No one was really at an event. They don't know the truth. So be mindful of your confidential information that you're holding. Be mindful that the truth out of context is a lie. Out of context, which means out of any situation, is a lie. So that means that I want to be using that voice to serve myself, to serve the business, to serve the organization, to serve my fair exchange for what I deserve as well. Okay, so use your voice wisely. And then just here, I've got some extra insights just to help you to create some more order. This is the Organized Mind. It's a short summary that he did. Daniel Levitin, I read this some years ago. I love it. Okay, and the Jim Tam is some collaboration stuff that he was doing, and he's got this story about chickens. I know that they are chickens, but it sort of helps drive the point of what he's trying to say about the difference between collaboration and obviously destruction. And then multipliers is really a leadership tool, but I really liked what they were writing here, and I thought this can really help you to get some insight into the type of leaders that we're looking for, that multiply, that develop talent and things like that. And not Liz Wiseman sort of compares it to a multiplier versus a diminisher, and how you can help the people that you serve to really be able to be inspired to multiply as well. Like, it's your job also to inspire them. I know over the years, my EAs have been a huge source of my inspiration and a huge source of my order, needless to say, time track, because they have created so much order for me, which allows me as a leader to be able to get my thinking cap on. And then just be mindful, look at this video. Don't be too quick to judge the story you hear. Don't be too quick to judge the person. Find out what's really going on for them. People go through many different things in lots of their areas of life. And I like to make sure that I'm really paying attention to their body, and I'm saying, is this really about me, or is there something going on for them? And just to be mindful not to be too quick to pounce in, to jump in, to judge them, to talk about them, and just know that leaders and the people that you serve that are out there dealing with the clients a lot, even though you're that first point of call, you know how clients can be because you're answering the phone sometimes with clients. And so just remember to really be mindful about where people are at, what's going on for them, so that you can really help support them. So I'm sure this is going to help you to move along. Feel free to ask any questions as they come up, and enjoy this one pager.